So, much like Bob and Skittle, I haven't really taken a lot of videos lately of Deku and Lord Seagram because they're doing great. Not really any developments, but now they can both fly, but like from what you've heard of me talking about, some of the kids out here can get kind of rowdy, and Deku is she's almost 8 years old, and I don't think she can really, I don't, she doesn't seem interested in coming out anyway, but like, I just don't want her getting into fights, you know? She's twice the age, in some cases, 3 or 4 times the age of most of the rest of the birds here. And Lord Seagram, well, he is a male, and he's younger than her, he's smaller than her. He was for those that don't know, he was a racing pigeon who got lost and almost starved to death. I have a few like that, and I've gotten several more who now live in Phoenix. But he was built for long distances. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States, and according to the database for racing pigeons and his entry that I found, uh, he was racing from Utah to Las Vegas. I believe Salt Lake City, which is hundreds of miles. So he was bred for long distance, stamina, durability. Whereas Missile, or even 4K, if you see them next to him, they're huge and muscular, and I think they're built for power, for sprints, so to speak, whereas he is bred for marathons. Anyway, um, Deku is the second pigeon that my wife and I ever rescued back in 2018. My wife actually found her in what was it? An office complex in the walking spaces between buildings. She's really bothered by the fact that I'm here with the door open. She's like, "Go away, Dad." Um, I guess I can tell you their stories a little bit. I mean, Seagram, I'll go into him a little bit more, but I pretty much told you his story. She was a little baby. She actually hurt her ankle. It's the right one, which is a little clubbed now. That's really weird that it's clubbed. Oh, I need to trim your nails, honey. It's really weird that it's clubbed now because we set it and she grew up and she was able to, or both of her feet were pretty normal. And then about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, that old injury somehow flared up and her foot got clubbed. So, but yeah, she'd fallen from her nest, I guess, and couldn't find where that nest was. It was just, I don't know, too high up. And ants were starting to crawl on her. And my wife said everybody saw her, but they just walked past her like they didn't give a shit. So, my wife gave a shit. That's why I love her. And scooped her up. We raised her, and she was our second rescue pigeon. She eventually married our third rescue pigeon, the late great Penguin, who, if you ever want to see videos of him, just type in my channel name and Penguin. He was a beautiful piebald, and he was part dragoon, which I didn't know until a couple of years ago. But he got together with her. I guess I don't want to make this too long, but he tricked me into thinking he was a female because he acted female, and I thought he and Deku were just best girlfriends, and I'd been told that sometimes female bonded pigeons and doves will lay infertile eggs. And I have found this to be true. Cookie and her wife Biscuit, they're both doves, they're both girls, and they both lay eggs a lot. So I thought, okay, I'll just leave it. I should have switched it out. And they had a daughter named Pidgeotto. And when Pidgeotto was born, Penguin dropped the act and he started acting like a male. So, yeah, he was very, very smart. And he was very kind. He and Deku. So, I offer babies that I get to my couples to foster. They can accept or reject them. Um, my couples accepting foster babies is very rare. I think that that is not something that is very common, um, simply due to the fact that it's not their babies. Deku and Penguin, however, were different. They accepted every single foster baby we offered them. They raised so many babies over the years, like literally dozens. I think that might be one of the reasons her foot got clubbed. Producing crop milk is a tremendous strain on the body's nutrients and to some degree the calcium. And I think maybe she had a slight calcium deficiency for a short window that caused that old ankle injury to act up and for that to happen. Anyway, once the foot started getting clubbed, Deku and Penguin stopped accepting fosters. I think she realized, I've really taken a lot out of myself doing this. I'm getting too old for this. And Penguin agreed. He loved her more than anything, and he just wanted her well-being. He also cared about the babies, too. I mean, he was such a good dad. Earlier this year, over the summer, he and her both, I still don't know what it was, but they got some kind of digestive tract thing. It may have been a parasite, may have been a virus, I don't know. They both initially vomited blood once, and then after that they couldn't keep food down very easily. They would eat seeds and throw them back up. So not knowing what was wrong, and a lot of my vet friends and vet tech friends, they didn't know either, but they weren't avian vets, so I threw every safe medication I could at them. I hand fed them, and it kept them alive. If I didn't do that, they both would have just died. But it wasn't enough. And she's more frail than Penguin was. And she got really bad for a while, and she almost died. Penguin noticed this, and I noticed that he started crop feeding her. He was regurg feeding her. Now you know that pigeons can do this. He wasn't feeding her crop milk because they hadn't laid eggs in a while, so his body hadn't made that. But that is something, that when they regurg feed each other like that, some infection. Good girl. It can be like an affection thing, a trust thing, but in his case, he was really trying to just help his wife. And the thing about that is all the medicine and all the formula, it doesn't have things that pigeons have when they feed each other. Digestive enzymes, immune system boosting nutrients. But both of those things were very crucial. And I don't think he understood the science, but he knew that, after feeding babies, so many babies over the years, he knew that, regurg feeding another bird drained him as it did in the past. He knew that he was sick, and he understood that feeding his wife was going to put his life in danger. He was a very smart bird, let me tell you. I think even a regular pigeon would have understood that, but he was very, very smart. And he loved his Deku more than anything. And lo and behold, Deku didn't die. She actually got better, and she didn't make a full recovery right away, but her life was no longer in danger. But Penguin, he gave her what he needed to beat what was wrong with him, and so he died. And I believe that if he hadn't done that, I believe Deku would have died and that Penguin would have made it. And that would have been unacceptable to him. I don't think he could have. He wouldn't have been able to go on without her. She meant the world to him. Um, she still wasn't 100%. I had to hand feed her Rowdy Bush crop milk replacer for about 3 months after that because she had no appetite. That thing had done so much damage to her digestive tract that she just had no appetite. She wasn't eating seeds on her own, and she started losing weight. Um, Katie Exact didn't do it, but the Rowdy Bush, not only did it give her good nutrients, something in it stimulated her appetite, and she would eat seeds. Yes, Seagram really wants to cuddle. I'm sorry, guys. He's impatient now. He's pissed. And it's like, I tested it. I would go a day where I would only get her Rowdy Bush once instead of 3 times, and then she would start to get skinnier. So I did everything I could to keep her alive until her appetite came back on its own and she doesn't need Rowdy Bush anymore. After Penguin died to save her, there's no way I'm letting anything happen to her. I would chop off my own arm before I let something happen to her because, one, I love Deku very much. She's a great girl, every bit as good as her husband was. But also, he would be so upset if his wife died and didn't live a full life after what he gave up, especially. So she was in mourning for a few months. That may have been another reason, I don't know, that she wasn't eating, but the Rowdy Bush did seem to stimulate her appetite. But she was sad, and I wasn't sure if she'd ever want to remarry. One of the reasons I was looking to get Fleck, who some of you may have seen, is he looks a bit like Penguin. He's kind of piebald, but knowing Fleck's personality, I don't think they would have gotten one. And then about 3 or 4 months after Penguin died, maybe 2 or 3 months, I don't know, I forget. Lord Seagram was posted on the rescue page for pigeons and doves that I go to. He was on a ranch, and when they didn't know how to take care of him, but they wanted to keep him safe, wanted somebody to give him a good life. Yes, baby, I know. Here's your wife. Here she is. Oh, she's pissed. And now he's pissed. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, do I? But anyway, I was letting her free fly, and then they started hanging out together. And I noticed that long story short, as you can guess, they fell in love. And Penguin was a very gentle husband, that some male pigeons can be really rough even with their wives. Penguin never touched her. He never drove her. He never pecked her. He never hurt her once. He was never ever mean to her. Hey, well, I was about to say that Seagram is about as gentle, but apparently that's not entirely the case. I think they're agitated because I'm here. But this is another reason why I pretty much leave them alone in their cage. Because pretty much what they do, I mean, he's not as old as her. He's 5, she's almost 8. But he was racing most of his life. I mean, he's pretty much a retiree now. And they are both pretty much an old couple that sit on their porch swing drinking coffee and talking about the old days. And they're very happy like that. And yeah, I think that this was just me agitating them. So I'm going to cut this off here in a minute. But yeah, Seagram was super skinny when I picked him up. He was actually past the point of emaciation that other pigeons that I tried to save were just beyond saving. He wasn't even loopy, so his breeding, like, they must have really bred him for like super duper durability and stamina. He was too weak to fly, but he was very lucid. It was crazy. I looked at him and I'm like, how are you alive? Oh, she's like, no, I want to cuddle under you. I want to put my head under you. He's like, no, I want to do that. And they're like, hey, fuck off, Dad. This is private. Yeah, see, they love each other so much. And I think Penguin would really be happy that his wife is happy again. He loved her more than anything. Anyway, enough of my babbling. Yeah, this is why I haven't made many videos about them lately. Is just they're doing great. There's really not much that's changed or is happening in their world. They spend their days really happy and really safe and really healthy, and I am so glad for that.